Josh Hasten here, Israel Uncensored, on the Land of Israel Network, on thelandofisrael.com. It is Monday, the 29th of July, 2019, the 26th of Tammuz, 5779, broadcasting to you from Jerusalem. Hope you're doing well in your part of the world. You can always get in touch with me during the week. Josh at thelandofisrael.com, on Facebook, Joshua Hasten, or my new page, Josh Hasten Israel Advocacy and Journalism, on Twitter at Josh Hasten, and now on Instagram as well. We're going to go to the phone right now. And perhaps by now you have heard of or you have seen the videos of Ezri Tubi. The name of the organization is called Boomerang Fighting for Israel. They have gotten millions and millions of hits from around the world, telling the truth about what goes on here in Israel. Ezri, thanks so much for joining us here today.
Good morning, Josh. Good morning to all the listeners.
If somehow people out there have not seen the work of Boomerang Fighting for Israel, describe how this all came about and talk about the work that you do, Ezri.
So thank you, Josh, and good morning to all the listeners. If anyone who's listening right now did not have a chance to get acquainted with Boomerang, then it's very simple. You just write Boomerang Fighting for Israel on YouTube, and you will reach our channel. And this is where all our videos, or of course, Facebook page, and that way people can follow. I started this initiative, this organization 3 years ago from literally scratch, just from a lot of frustration that I personally had, after following up and seeing what's happening and lies, misconceptions, especially when it comes to Judea and Samaria. So we know how to live the land and we know many things, but we did not talk out to the world and display and present our story to the world, and somebody else is doing it, but in a very vile way. And I'm born and bred Israeli, right? So I needed some more confidence to be able to do it in the language of English. But on the other hand, I felt, as my ancestors were always here in the Middle East, I felt really connected to this place and took the challenge upon myself 3 years ago. And again, I started with no experience, no money, nothing at all, just a lot of passion, will. And I've started taking a step by step, learning how to do it and watching, observing how others do it and learning from mistakes, and started creating. The first video I did was called Imagine, when I was exposed to this phenomenon that, Jews are turning their back on us and displaying us as the bad people and the vile part of the story. It frustrated me so much that I wrote some text and I created a video from that text, and it went very, very viral. And then I understood that I have something very powerful in my hand that I have to continue and upgrade it, and that's what I've been doing ever since.
So how often are you putting out videos these days at Boomerang?
Great question. So for now, we have a weekly video, which is every Thursday now. We publish a video regarding a different issue here in Judea and Samaria. Our videos are short, interesting, and high quality. So every Thursday night, people can follow us again on YouTube groups that I publish the videos there. So that's a weekly video. And we have a monthly line as well, which is called Boomerang Gives. In Boomerang Gives, we create 2 videos a month for Boomerang Gives initiative, which is actually connecting people to the story of Judea and Samaria. That's the purpose of everything we do. But especially with Boomerang Gives, we choose a different project every month, and we call upon people to be part of this project. People donate to this project. We create great videos out of it, and people are connected to the story and to this amazing story that is happening right now in Judea and Samaria.
So what you're saying, Ezri, is that you have the advocacy angle with the actual videos that come out weekly on Thursday nights, and then you have, I guess, a relatively brand new concept called Boomerang Gives, where you call on people to take action for different causes here throughout Israel, specifically Judea and Samaria. Did I get it right?
Yes, you got it right. And of course, there's so much to tell. Apart from confronting lies, right, refuting lies, there's so much positive things that people, I'm an urban guy. I grew up in Netanya. I never knew Judea and Samaria until the age of 27. I didn't even know they existed. I did, but it was so far away from my conscience. So the only thing that mattered to me was what Tel Aviv had to offer. So when I met the story of Judea and Samaria for the first time when I was 27 years old, I fell in love with the place, with the people. And today I feel privileged being called, a Jewish villager, settler of Judea and Samaria, because there's so much to tell, so many stories that we can show. What is happening is totally amazing. And again, the fact that everybody's displaying this place, this geographical place and people as the biggest problem in the world just goes to prove that, on the contrary, you know how evil works. It picks on the most powerful thing and the most effective thing it believes that could do good, and it attacks it. So I think there's so much more that could be done here. Unfortunately, we're almost the only ones here doing it in English. Again, unfortunately, very unfortunately. I would love for some competitors. Many people ask me, why are you putting the word fighting, as part of your branding? You should use more subtle words like truth and stuff like that. But I said, I'm sorry. I mean, it's out there, it's straight out there. This is a war. Although there are no bullets and tanks and airplanes, but the war of the minds is a much more dangerous war than even a regular one. Okay, because in '67 it took us 6 days to wipe out 3 armies. With tanks, with jet planes, with everything. Today with Hamas, and we're having rounds of 50 days with them, and nobody's sure who actually won these rounds. Why? Because we are losing the war of the minds. That's why. Because when you have legitimacy, then you can win. But when you don't have legitimacy, you can have the biggest tank or the most high technology, but war we're fighting for sure.
Ezri Tubi, Boomerang Fighting for Israel. Check out the weekly terror report. Check out Boomerang Gives. Check out all of his amazing videos. I want to thank you so much for joining us here on Israel Uncensored. Keep up the holy work that you're doing, and let's stay in touch, Ezri.
Thank you, Josh. Have a great day.
Have a great day. We're going to come right back with all the latest news. You're listening to Israel Uncensored on the Land of Israel Network at thelandofisrael.com. My name is Josh Hasten. Short break, and we'll be right back.
This week on the Yishai Fleischer Show, a pro-Israel Saudi Arabian blogger gets harassed on the Temple Mount in Jerusalem.
The real truth is he's a proxy for anti-Israel hate. The fight, most vehemently, is against Arabs who want to normalize relations with the Jews. That's who the most dangerous person is.
For the full show, download the Yishai Fleischer Show on the Land of Israel Network at thelandofisrael.com.
And we are back. Josh Hasten here, Israel Uncensored on the Land of Israel Network at thelandofisrael.com. It is Monday, the 29th of July, 2019, the 26th of Tammuz, 5779. Hope you are doing well in your part of the world. Don't forget, you can always get in touch with me, Josh, at thelandofisrael.com. On Facebook, Joshua Hasten, or my new page, Josh Hasten, Israel Advocacy and Journalism. On Twitter, at Josh Hasten, and on Instagram as well. We're going to get to the news here. So this coming out of South Florida, a man was shot. A Jewish man was shot in a drive-by shooting outside a synagogue in North Miami Beach. This just happened apparently several hours ago here as I am recording on Monday morning here in Jerusalem. The victim's name is, for prayers, is Noach ben Leah Tzivia. And all the details have not been revealed at this point. By the time you're listening to this, perhaps we will know more. But I was listening to an interview from a rabbi of the Chabad down in the Miami Beach area. And again, all we know at this point is this gentleman, Noach ben Leah Tzivia, was waiting for the afternoon service outside of a synagogue. I believe the Young Israel there in North Miami Beach. A car pulled up and shot this Jew who visibly was a Jew. And again, all the details are not known at this hour. The North Miami police are calling on the community's assistance in tracking down the shooting suspect. Again, the victim, listed in critical but stable condition, was hit 4 times, was shot 4 times outside of the Young Israel Synagogue as he was getting ready for afternoon prayers. And again, it sounds like a targeted attack. It sounds like anti-Semitism, but we'll have to wait and see on the reports. But in the meantime, prayers for Noach ben Leah Tivia down there in Florida. Switching gears here, an election update. A lot of talk overnight about a possible merger between several of the so-called right-wing parties. We're talking about the Bayit HaYehudi, the Jewish Home Party, the National Union, and the Bayit HaChadash Party. The players involved here, Ayelet Shaked, Naftali Bennett, Rafi Peretz, Bezalel Smotrich. Nothing official at this point from what I understand, but the merger of all those parties I think is a very good idea for those who vote to the right of the Likud, let's say. I think that some of these parties learned their lesson in the last election, especially Naftali Bennett's party, the New Right Party, as they did not pass the electoral threshold. So according to reports, Ayelet Shaked would be the head of the joint list. And then following Ayelet Shaked, you have Peretz, then Smotrich, then Bennett. Nothing official at this point, but it looks like they're coming together for an agreement, which I think is extremely beneficial as we head towards the September 17th election in terms of not wasting votes. Talk about perhaps the Zehut Party, Moshe Feiglin, joining this coalition, but those are unconfirmed at this time. We'll see how it plays out over the course of the next several days. I mean, we're getting to a point, I don't know exactly when the date is. I think it's just a few days away when parties have to register themselves leading up to the election, meaning whichever parties are merging with other parties as one unit, you'll have to come together and declare to the election committee who is going to be running. I think that has to happen here in the near future. So I think it's just a matter of time before we have an official announcement on all of the parties and which candidates are running with which parties and who's merging with whom. So we'll have to see what happens in the days ahead. I would say keep it locked into Gil Hoffman here on the Land of Israel Network. Listen to his show for all the latest election coverage. In other news, and this probably could have been a top story here, reported here by the Jerusalem Post, and by now perhaps you've seen the videos and images all over the internet. In face of Iran's continued development of long-range missiles, Israel and the U.S. completed a series of tests of the new long-range Arrow 3 ballistic missile defense system in Alaska, including the successful interception of an enemy missile target. This was unbelievable footage. I saw this yesterday. Cooperation between the U.S. and Israel, advancing the safety of both nations. This reported by the J Post. The series of tests, which were held for the first time outside of Israel, attended by Israel's ambassador to the U.S., Ron Dermer, included the interception of high-altitude target missiles outside the atmosphere. There was a report that Ron Dermer was headed towards Alaska and that it was going to be a really big deal. No one knew exactly why he was going to Alaska, but now we know the successful test of the Arrow 3 ballistic missile defense system, and of course with the Iranian nuclear threat. I mean, this is a huge, huge step in the defense of both Israel and the U.S. and the free world, rather. But it's great to see these two nations collaborating, perhaps like never before. And just amazing, amazing images. You can go check it out. Our friend Anna Aronheim from the J Post has it all over her Twitter. The fact that this test took place and all the images and the videos or whatnot. So this is just an unbelievable cooperation between the two countries, and hopefully we'll never need it. But just in case, we are on our way towards having this extremely, extremely important piece of defensive technology. But even with that collaboration and cooperation, you have those in the U.S., unfortunately, who do not want to see Israel and the U.S. collaborate on such a level, I would dare say. And I'm referring to Senator Bernie Sanders, who's seeking the Democratic presidential nomination in the U.S. election in 2020, criticizing Prime Minister Netanyahu, saying the U.S. cannot prioritize the wants and needs of Israel over all else that wants to help bring peace to the Middle East. So somehow siding with Israel is not necessarily a good step towards peace. The U.S. can't be so biased towards Israel. That's a horrible thing, according to Barry Sanders, who happens to be Jewish. His comments were made in an interview with the Pod Save America podcast. The Vermont senator, reported here by Israel National News, said that tensions between Israel and the Palestinians have become worse under Netanyahu. I don't know where he gets this. He said the following: I think what has happened in recent years under Netanyahu, you have an extreme right-wing government with many racist tendencies, charged Sanders. I wonder if he has said anything like this in regard to Iran, or if he's criticized Venezuela or any of these other regimes, if he has taken them to task, yet openly criticizing the Prime Minister of the State of Israel. In light of all this cooperation between the two countries, Sanders went on to say he would absolutely consider using the billions of dollars in military aid that the U.S. sends Israel each year as leverage to force the Israeli government to act differently. So he wants to withhold U.S. aid as a bargaining chip, I guess, towards Israel's behavior as he would like to see Israel acting. So that there you have Bernie Sanders. He went on to say, quote, our policy cannot be just pro-Israel, pro-Israel, pro-Israel. It has to be pro-region, working with all the people, all the countries in the area. He added the Palestinian Arabs deserve to be treated with dignity and respect. So basically what he's saying here, if you read between the lines, he wants to make this U.S. aid conditional on how Israel acts, or how he sees Israel should be acting based on his skewed moral compass, in my opinion. But what he doesn't realize, okay, first of all, U.S. aid to Israel, Israel ends up spending all that money in the U.S., okay? Israel uses that for defense spending, spends it in the U.S. using American companies and the technologies and the equipment they produce. So if America cuts off that aid, the money doesn't go to the U.S. companies, and Americans lose their jobs. That's the bottom line. So he could say all this stuff and talk tough against Israel, but at the end of the day, who is he actually hurting? This open-minded, right, liberal, Jewish American. He's going to be hurting the American worker. That is, Israel will survive, okay? We'll get by. And I've always said that I think that Israel needs to be more independent and depend less on foreign aid, even if it's from an amazing friend like the U.S. But that being said, he wants this to be conditional, does Bernie Sanders, and at the end of the day, he wants Americans, I don't know if he wants it, but the end result is going to be Americans are going to lose their jobs because Israel will not be then spending the money over there if he throws in all these clauses based on what he calls, based on Israel's behavior, which he deems racist under the Netanyahu government. I don't know who you're voting for in 2020, folks, but if I was a Democrat, which I am not in any way, shape, or form, but I would have to definitely look at some of the other candidates. And again, I don't know. I think that's pretty tough as to who I would pick if I was forced to do so. But then since you're not forced to do so, maybe you should not vote for the Democrats in 2020, certainly not Bernie Sanders. Just one other story here. Well, two other stories, one negative, and then we'll finish on a positive note. Two cases reported here by Arutz Israel National News. Two cases of severe anti-Semitism have been exposed in the last few days among employees of CNN. Karim Farid, a presenter for CNN Arabic, wrote on his Twitter account, "I love you, Hitler," adding that he appreciated his determination to reach his goal. This is a CNN employee. CNN photo editor Mohammed El-Ashami resigned Thursday following the resurfacing of a series of anti-Semitic tweets that he posted in 2011, saying more than 4 Jewish pigs killed in Jerusalem today by the Palestinian bomb, referring to a suicide bombing in 2011, a terrorist attack calling the Jews who were killed pigs. So apparently he was fired because of these tweets which resurfaced. I don't know if Karim Farid, the presenter who said that he that "I love you, Hitler," I don't know what his status is right now, if CNN is going to fire him. But anti-Semitism there, mainstream on the cable news network. And let's finish on some positive here. In the world of Israeli sports, a lot's been going on in the world of sports here. In Israel, we had the under-20 men in basketball win the European Championships, under-20 basketball. I think we talked about that last week. Now we have Israeli baseball. Headlines here in today's Jerusalem Post. Israel dominates Lithuania, wins B pool to advance in Olympic qualifying. The Israeli men's baseball team is trying to qualify for the Olympic Games in Tokyo in the summer of 2020, next summer. And they have a long way to go, but they have reached their immediate goal in winning the B pool in Europe. So what that means essentially is they're now in the A pool tournament, and which is a step in the right direction. And the winner, I believe, of the A pool tournament will then represent the European/African region going into the Olympics in 2020. Again, it's a long way to go. Winning the A pool, I'm sure, will not be an easy feat in any way, shape, or form. But September 18th to the 22nd, Israel will be competing in Italy in the A pool, trying to advance to the Olympics. That would be an unbelievable feat, representing the state of Israel. A bunch of these players are Americans who have played, I think, semi-pro in the U.S., some of them making aliyah to play baseball in Israel. It's unbelievable the way Israel's representing. Israel's being represented by these athletes all over the world, whether it's in baseball or basketball or lacrosse and all these other sports. I've seen so much this summer in particular about great successes that Israeli athletes have had in international competitions all over the world. So we'll leave you on that positive note. My name is Josh Hasten, broadcasting from Jerusalem on the 29th of July, 2019. Monday here, the 26th of Tammuz, 5779. Big shout out to Binyamin Bresky for all the work he does getting these shows up, and Tabitha Epstein as well, who do so much behind the scenes. Without them, there would be no Land of Israel Network here at thelandofisrael.com. Get in touch with me during the week. My email, josh@thelandofisrael.com. On Facebook, Joshua Hasten, or my page, Josh Hasten, Israel Advocacy and Journalism. On Twitter, @Josh Hasten, and now on Instagram as well. Most importantly, between now and when we speak again, please God, next Monday, everybody in the wonderful world of ours out there, be safe, have a great week. Shalom from Jerusalem, the eternal capital of the Jewish people.
I call for a vote.
I'm not voting for her.
Only an idiot would vote for me.
Well, I didn't vote for you.
Who cares about this stupid election?
In this Meshuggah world, you should know who to vote for.
What's going on behind the scenes as Israelis prepare to go to the polls on September 17th? Tune in to Inside Israel Today on the Land of Israel Network on thelandofisrael.com for all the action as it happens.
If you vote for me, all of your wildest dreams will come true.